that election will be fought on the economy, living conditions, etc. How is your living condition? And if given the opportunity, would you want a return of John Mahama, or you will want Mahmoud Bawumia to ascend to the presidency, or the movement for change, Alan Kyerematen, who has come from the MPP but is asserting his own views and his own vision right now. Indeed, Bawumia says he will be his own man. He has his own vision. That is what he will run with. We'll subject all of that to some analysis. But just to provide you some updates, or before that, we'll look at the Akosombo Dam spillage as well. The question about resettlement of the victims, that hasn't really come up. What is the plan for resettlement? Will resettlement permanently or in a lasting fashion resolve the problem we've seen in case there's a spillage next year or sometime soon? Because we cannot afford to see all over again what we are seeing now next year should the conditions, play back. There should really be a solution to this so that the people in those areas who are suffering this with no fault of theirs can live a life of dignity. All right. Let me provide you some updates, and then we get a discussion started. It's over a year, or in just over a year, Ghanaians face a critical decision as they determine President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's successor after his two-term presidency. The major political parties, the NDC and the MPP, along with a presumed third force, Movement for Change, have chosen their presidential candidates for the 2024 election. All three candidates, John Dramani Mahama, former president, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, current vice president, and Alan John Kojo Kyerematen, former trades and industry minister, appear poised to battle it out with what political watchers say will be a very complex contest on all fronts. For candidate John Mahama, who garnered 98.9% of his party's presidential primary votes, will be the fourth time. This will be the fourth time he will appear on the ballot, having contested in 2012, 2016, and 2020. However, will be coming into his first presidential contest with the incumbency advantage, at the same time the baggage, good or bad, of the government. Mr. Kyerematen, who since 2007 has been seeking to lead the MPP until September, when he quit the party, having placed third in the party's Subadele's conference, will be hoping to be the third force to break the political dominance of the NDC and MPP. There is more in the following report.
For the first time since 2007, the New Patriotic Party will go into a major election in 2024, led by a presidential candidate not named Akufo-Addo. That mandate of NPP flag bearer has now been handed over to the Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Dr. Bawumia emerged winner of the party's November 4 presidential primary with 61.47% of the votes, ahead of closest contender Kennedy Agyapong. The Asin Central NP came in second with 37.41%, ahead of former Agric Minister Dr. Osefri Akoto and former MP for Mampong Francis Adainimo, who came in third and fourth place respectively. This NPP contest was nothing like the party had witnessed since its formation in 1992. The vice president's political career took off when he was chosen to be running mate to President Akufo-Addo and came to prominence during the 2013 election petition. For most political watchers, the 2023 presidential primary race was going to be a street fight between Dr. Bawumia and now independent presidential candidate hopeful Alan Kyerematen, who had been a perennial contestant in the NPP presidential primaries. Then the enigmatic and controversial Asin Central MP Kennedy Agyapong entered the race. Kennedy Agyapong, who calls himself a grassroots person, brought his feisty personality to the race and even beat Alan Kyerematen to second place in the Special Delegates Conference. Accusations and counter-accusations were made.
One of the chairmen, he got Toyota Land Cruiser Prado. Some got as high as 150,000. In Central Region, some chairman got Toyota Nissan Navara, brand new, and it cost 40,000. When you convert it, it's 440,000 Ghana cedis. And now, you are going to vote with all these people, and they will come and give you 2,000 cedis.
They've decided to adopt some new tactics. The new tactics is what? If you miss the ball, don't miss the man. That is the new tactics that they are adopting. And so, what is the tactics? They have decided to spread lies.
During the August 26 special election, Kennedy Japan promised Dr. Bawumia a showdown in the race to become flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party.
President Akufo, member will show down. Vice President, member will show down. So, Mama chasing me agent. I'm not going to shut them. What do you bet? What do you bet me?
As November 4 approached, the party took steps to present a united front. All 4 candidates were made to sign a bond to remain in the party regardless of the outcome of the elections. This was intended to prevent another situation like it happened with Alan Chemating, who left the party after the August 26 Special Congress.
We were able to get the 4 aspirants contesting, namely Honorable Kennedy Japan, His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Muhammad Bawumia, Dr. Akoto Afiye, and Honorable Adenimo, all signing an undertaking. And in summary, what they signed to, and I'll read to all of you. 1 is to accept the primary election results. 2, to promote peace and cohesion. 3, in the event that they don't win, they will not resign from the party.
There was high expectation amongst delegates, polling agents and officials of the party on the day of voting. The exercise across the country in voting centers in all 16 regions was largely uneventful. The Presidential Elections Committee was sure that it had provided an even playing field for all contestants.
As a committee, I've ensured that we created an even playing field and a fair ground for the competition. And as we always say, victory should be won in the ring. So we created the environment such that at the end of the day, whatever rules that we need to set, we set them, and whoever wins would have won comfortably, and all the aspirants will rally behind them.
Following the closure of polls at 2 p.m., the party convened at the Accra Sports Stadium for a declaration of results by the Electoral Commission in a charged atmosphere of party supporters.
Our computation, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia had 91.47%. Sorry, 61.47%. 61.47%. So, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is duly elected as the flag bearer going to 2024.
A concession speech from the losing candidates, including Kennedy Japan, followed.
Earlier on, I placed a telephone conversation with him, and then I conceded to him and congratulated him for the marvelous work that he has done to achieve this history. I'm very confident that having worked with the Vice President on all the major institutions of the government for 6 years, that he will lead us to victory come next year, 2024.
I believe the party has been fair and transparent.
Yes!
That is the only thing I've always been preaching. And I must admit, election is fair. And my grassroots have spoken. And therefore, I accept the results in good faith.
Then after, there was a ceremony to pass on the torch of leadership to Dr. Bawumia. President Akufo-Addo, with the help of party chairman Stephen and team, passed on the baton in a short symbolic ceremony.
It is my great privilege to hand over the flag of the new Patriotic Party to you, Muhammadu Bawumia. There you are.
Then followed the acceptance speech from the new NPP flag bearer.
The new Patriotic Party will enter 2024 united and energized. We are ready to make a strong and convincing case for another term in office with a fresh mandate and a new leader. Ladies and gentlemen, the journey towards today has been exciting and at the same time fraught with challenges. I remember the auspicious day on the 14th of August 2008, when through the visionary leadership of candidate Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, as he was then, and the MPP, I was outdoored onto the uncertain political terrain of our nation. I owe endless gratitude to President Akufo-Addo for his decision in 2008 and his undying confidence in me in the periods 2012, 2016, and 2020. That singular, consistent decision has birthed this historic moment we are witnessing tonight. I thank you, Mr. President, for believing in me.
The NPP will shift focus to the election of parliamentary candidates for orphan constituencies in December and other constituencies in February 2024.
All right, so you saw and heard that wrap of the activities of the MPP over the weekend, producing Mahmoud Bawumia as the candidate. Now my guests are seated around the table. Indus Afuseni, Honorable former MP, former Minister, former MP for Tamale Central. Haruna Mohammed, Deputy General Secretary of the MPP. Yaboabin Asamoah. You remember that name? Yaboabin Asamoah. Now, advisor to the Alan Tremantin campaign team of the Movement for Change. I don't know if that position, I don't know if there are other things to add to that position, but it's a senior advisor to Alan Kojo Tremantin, who is the leader of the Movement for Change. Also, Franklin Kujo, President Imani Africa. Franklin, it's been a while. Happy to have you back. Gentlemen, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes, I started with you, Haruna. I mean, last week, your party produced Mahmoud Bawumia as the flag bearer and our leader of the party. That ended a long, journey into this particular, where we are now. What really will be your impression of that race, given all the things that, happen along the line? Alan Tremantin, withdrawing from the race, resigning from the party, Boakye Jakun withdrawing from the race, citing some reasons, and all of that we've seen showdown. Eventually, the process is concluding last week with the election of Mahmoud Bawumia.
Thank you very much, Salom. First and foremost, I will say good morning to your cherished viewers out there across the length and breadth of the country and the globe. And a good morning to my former boss, former Director of Communication of the New Patriotic Party, former Member of Parliament for the good people of Adenta. And
now what?
And my senior brother, who I respect so much from the North, who is a clear demonstration of politics that you leave the sin when the sin needs you. And I respect him for that decision. Yes, the New Patriotic Party went into a contest as a result of the gap that has been left over the exit of Akufo-Addo. We opened up nominations. 10 people picked forms to contest. Eventually, we had 6. It dropped down to 4 on the basis of the circumstances that you have narrated. The party moved on to have our elections on the 4th of November. His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, won the elections. Long before many had made commentary of the fact that there would not be any time that a Northerner will be given the opportunity to lead the New Patriotic Party. That particular proposition has been taken away. And today, I'm very confident that as I work for the New Patriotic Party, and I come from Zabzugu and from the northern region and being a Dagomba by tribe, I would have the opportunity one day to lead this country or to lead this party, if I have the vision to do so. Any other tribe within our party would have the opportunity to lead this party against all the odds that many has prophesied for the New Patriotic Party. This was a victory for the New Patriotic Party. It was not a victory for Dr. Bawumia, because we have been aligned and been spoken bad about in terms of tribal politics from the NDC. And clearly this was demonstrated by the flag bearer of the NDC, that he lived to see that day. And hopefully, I want to thank God for giving him that long life to be able to live to see that Dr. Bawumia was given that particular opportunity. We are hoping to hear from him going forward whether he would change his mind with respect to what he has put forward. Salom, the MPP has made a very big history. A very big history because you know what happened in the 26th August elections for the special delegates. All manner of accusations were being raised. Matters has been referred to appropriate quarters of the party. We promised to make sure that elections coming on the 4th of November will be free and fair. The party put on all the mechanisms to make sure that the 277 centers that elections were taking place was free and fair. And this was demonstrated by the close contendant, or the second in line, that is Honorable Kennedy Ohini Ajapong. I think that this is the most peaceful, successful election that the MPP has organized over the period. Nothing at all happened in all the 277 centers. Nothing at all happened in the 331 polling booths that were being staged for elections to take place. And I think that we deserve much more commendation. And we have reiterated the point that the MPP remains the beacon of democracy in Africa.
Yeah, and that notwithstanding how the process, the processes lead, or the issues leading to the processes. So, for example, a major pillar of your party resigned, another major pillar withdrew from the race, all citing the fact that the process has not been fair. And indeed, one of them said the process had been skewed to expect this outcome we have today, to produce Bawumia as candidate. And you think that is democratic enough for persons, you know, very key in your party to have these views?
Salom,
process.
Salom, we are not oblivious of the facts. We responded to all these matters when it came up. When the matter was made that the elections was skewed, we responded to that. We referred to Article 13(9) of the party's constitution, where the delegates were predetermined. These delegates are predetermined. It is not a selection of a particular representation, but it is something that has been predetermined. And if you check the constitution of the party, the last time the constitution was amended was when I was a deputy director of communication under my former boss in Cape Coast, and that was on 17th of December 2017. And I can remember how Bernard and Co, we had to arrange the platform for communication activities to go on. And as at that time, these delegates were determined in the constitution of our party. So it will be very surprising for anybody to say that the election has been skewed to a particular or a category of people or persons. And if you look at a larger electoral college, this was also determined by the constitution of the party. So obviously, there is a reason for anybody at all to proffer for losing or expecting to lose election. And we accommodate all these issues and responded to them in a manner that is deserving of a national party as MPP. So for me, I think that this is a democracy, and we can't expect to get 100%, but we have demonstrated enough courage and responsibility that behoves on us to be able to carry everybody along.
I see, great. Let me come to Inusa. the election processes often are fraught with difficulties and challenges. What is important is the party comes out of it successfully. And from what we saw on Saturday, it appeared quite successful. We've not heard anything to the contrary, even though we know that election days could be very peaceful and successful, but the events afterwards could lead to problems. How is the NDC taking this? In Harune's comments, he said they are yet to hear from the former president. I see the former president must comment on it. How is the NDC seeing this election of Bawumia? I say so because in the past, key actors of your party have sought to say that the MPP, given the nature of party it is, will never, allow Bawumia coming from the north to lead it because it is an Akan party. Now we've gone past that. How is the NDC viewing this, and what impact will the election of Bawumia have on your party, given that a major propaganda element or arsenal like a northerner leading the MPP has been neutralized now?
Well, Salom, let me say good morning to you, my good friend, Bawumia Samoa. Since he left his post as a communication director and a member of the Butterfly Party,
no, he's now with the
Butterfly Movement. You are invited. Butterfly Movement. He has not been coming to Iburi. I used to see him a lot on the Iburi Mountains extension. I think he's been taking busy. He's busy. Mohamed Haruna, fine gentleman. I mean, the first time I met him was in the aircraft, and we had a very nice discussion. I mean, very enjoyable discussion, and keep it up. Humble people like you don't belong to the NPP, but well, that's where you have chosen to be. Now, Salom, you must understand that NPP has always known of this tag, and this tag was not fostered on the NPP. It was the nature of the party. The party did not create opportunities for people of northern descent, and so this time round they made a conscious, deliberate effort to whip everybody into line and bypass those who had even served the party in capacities that had established their claim to lead the party. And so this was a conscious, deliberate effort by the Nana Akufo-Addo's government to ensure that his vice president takes up the mantle of leadership. I mean, there is no any other explanation to it than to say that this was Project Nana Akufo-Addo. And he himself said it after the election of Bawumia. He himself said it. I didn't put the words in his mouth. He said he had gotten Bawumia elected as flag bearer. Now it was for him to get him elected as president. He said it. And you could see clearly again that saying that NPP has been an anti-northern party was not with that basis. The person who gave life to what is now called the MPP tradition was SD Dumbo. SD Dumbo was then the minority leader and the head of the leader of the MPP, Northern People's Party. The Northern People's Party was founded not basically on ideological underpinnings, but because of the British colonial administration's policy towards the North, which deprived the northern part of the country of certain basic, essential. So people of the North came together and said, look, yes, we want independence, but in our condition, our independence, Ghana's independence, will not benefit us in the North. And so we want some guarantees. And that is why the British government set aside £30 million pounds sterling, especially for the development of the North. It was not an ideological party. Now, when the Ghana party, which was in parliament, which had only one representative, that is the Buzia, when the Trans-Togoland party, and when they came together to form the United Party, the MPP, which had the largest, I think, 16 or so seats in parliament, was not given the leadership.
The MPP being the Northern
People's Party was not given the leadership. SD Dumbo was not made the leader.
No, but I thought he He gave it up.
No, he didn't give it up. He didn't give it up. Buzia, it was prevailed upon to give it to Buzia.
He was
yes.
But Buzia was only one.
Yes.
And the voter Togoland guys were quite a number.
The
NPP, the Northern People's Party. So he had the majority.
Yes.
So who will prevail upon him? If it's people, the Northern People's Party.
The alliance that or the agreement that they came together to combine and collapse their parties to form the United Party. Okay? Now, in that meeting, Dumbo was prevailed upon to give up the position.
Against a membership of one. And that one became the leader.
And I'm coming. Have you ever heard of somebody called Alhaji Yakubu Tolona?
Yes, I've heard of Tolona.
You know that he was very instrumental. Yeah, he was very instrumental in the MPP. You know that he had expressed an interest in leading the MPP? You know that?
But a lot of people expressed
No. And actually put in the contest during the time of Victor also. You know that? He was never voted.
Yes, but he became the running mate.
Yes, he became the running mate. Yes, but I'm saying that leader. I'm not talking about leader. I mean, so
but it's a popular vote matter, is it not?
Well, I'm telling you, okay. I think that we are developing a hypothesis that the MPP had never given anybody of the northern descent opportunity to lead their party. Okay? And you remember Aliu Mama. You remember Aliu Mama? Kufo, I mean, if for nothing at all, I have tremendous respect for Kufo. Tremendous respect for Kufo. Because you see, this was a person who knew exactly what he was about. When you look at the administration of Kufo in the 8 years, yes, there were serious issues that we as NDC had with Kufo. But clearly, as a president, Kufo knew what he was about. But when it came to choosing, and Kufo did very well, and up to now, and particularly in the 2016 elections, the campaign of the MPP was largely hinged on the performance of Kufo. It was largely hinged on the performance of Kufo. Now, and Kufo, the presidency is a team. It's one. So if Kufo did so well in between 2000 and 2008, and his vice president wanted to continue in office with his good works, what prevented the MPP from giving him the opportunity? After all, it is the team of Kufo, Team Kufo, that delivered what was used as campaign for the 2016 elections. But he was denied. I mean, there were a lot of derogatory things said about Aliu Mama that in death, one would not want to bring it up. So clearly, it is precisely because of that we have always held the view that MPP is intolerant, is not accommodating of people of northern descent. Well, if they have gone out of their way to work tirelessly and exclude people who have contributed to the fortunes of the party over the years, in order to break this jinx that a northerner cannot lead the party, that is their cup of tea. But there is evidence, there is basis for our assertion that MPP doesn't create space. Now, so the election went on. I mean, first of all, we must know that Bawumia got 61. I mean, 61 point something percent, something percent. Statistically, 40% against your party people think that you are otherwise not fit to lead them is statistically important and significant. And so Bawumia will have to work on the 40%.
But in 1992, 42% of the people of the MPP felt that Edu Boahen was not fit enough to lead them, but he led them anyway. In Kufuor's instance, in 1996, 49% of the party thought he was not worthy to lead them. So when you look at the statistics, in terms of first timers, and Nanado's record is even worse, and that wasn't even his first time. This is Bawumia's first time appearing on the national party's ballot paper, and he made 61. Edu Boahen in 1992 made 58 against Kufuor, Gianni Selby, and a few other people. In 1996, when Kufuor won, that wasn't his first time because he had contested in 92. He won with 51%, which meant that 49% didn't want him. And that wasn't his first time. Akufo-Addo against Alan and the 15 others made 47. It had to take Alan Chemantin to leave the stage for him to win. But he still went ahead as leader of the party, had the control. So Bawumia 61% is actually unprecedented, and it's actually a great job.
I think that you are buttressing the point I'm making.
Really?
Yes.
How so? Because you're on the other end.
Let me tell you why. When Adogboahin got his 58%, Adogboahin did not win the elections.
Okay.
When Kufuor got his
51,
he didn't win the elections. He didn't. When Nana Akufo-Addo got the 47%,
he didn't win.
And Alan made the concession, he didn't win the election. So you're buttressing my point.
So to win the election, you need 80% or 90%?
You need an overwhelming support. So when Kufuor came back the second time to win the flag bearership, what percentage did he win?
I think he won big. That was when Nanado contested.
When Nanado came back the second time to win the premise, what percentage did he win?
I think won close to 90%.
That's what. So you are buttressing my point.
So I thought it was in terms of the control of the party.
You are actually buttressing my point. Only that you didn't see it that way. You didn't see it that way. So I'm saying that it is statistically important for you to know that to be able to lead a party, a group of people who share a common belief in an ideology, you need an overwhelming support of that group for everybody, because it's a voluntary association. That's what you must understand. Two, you have a process that in its first round resulted in a major player of your party withdrawing from the contest. Major player of the party. And my brother Haruna says, well, our party is known for its democratic credentials. I mean, what party and how democratic is your credentials if your party members, super delegates, vote in elections and are required to show the ballot, how they voted, to the next person standing behind them? How democratic is that process?
But were they required to do so?
They were required to do so.
They didn't do it.
And so when one refused or challenged, he was given a dirty slap.
the gentleman at Northeast.
Yes.
But that wasn't a
business. No, when he challenged. So if it is not required to do so, your party, the party itself, the party itself,
wasn't a voter. It was just a coordinator.
What I'm saying is that the party itself.
What do you mean? He was not a voter, so he was
he wasn't to be beaten. No, he wasn't to be beaten.
I'm just correcting you.
Okay. So he wasn't a delegate.
He was beaten for protecting.
But he could have fought against it.
Haruna, I didn't say he was voting.
On behalf of the people.
I didn't say he voted.
Yes. I said because he didn't show his
No.
So I just
no. I didn't say he voted. Somebody was showing, and then he protested
as an agent.
Okay.
And then his protest was not with that basis. The party guidelines had indicated and stipulated in black and white that voting was going to be secret, and that if anybody voted and showed his ballot, that ballot should be nullified. He was only drawing attention to the sanctity of the rules.
And he was beaten.
They dislocated his eye. And you say he's democratic. This is a party. This is a party that when the voting was taking place at the party headquarters, everywhere everybody will expect that at least there will be a level of decency. It is reported that the chief of staff took office and was dispensing money.
Yeah, but we can't prove that.
Well, I didn't say you should prove that.
You said it was reported.
I said it was reported.
Yes.
I didn't say you didn't report it.
Yes, we didn't report it.
You didn't report it. I said it was reported.
Yes, and I'm happy. We didn't
and
have
I'm also happy that you had the report.
Yeah, we didn't have any proof of that.
I'm happy that you had the report.
Okay.
It was reported.
He's a lawyer.
He took this thing.
He chooses his
now,
words very carefully.
You can throw it around. I was saying that we had no proof. Yeah, just so
I didn't demand of any proof.
Yes, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you don't need to hassle on this matter.
Okay.
You didn't report it. City FM did not report it.
Okay.
Then you fire a showdown. Well, we are being told openly that to secure the election of Bawumia, in the first round, And in the second round, money played a significant influence. And you think that your party is democratic. You know what money does in politics? It distorts
the will of the people.
That's what money does. So wherever money plays an influence in ensuring that a person emerges as leader, you cannot say that process is democratic. You cannot. How can you use money to procure elections and turn around and say that we are the most democratic? What is the level playing field that you have created? What about people like that my good friend, Adainimo, who left parliament so many years ago, who cannot raise that amount of money?
He's an engineer.
Yes, engineer, or the which, and the MPP, tell me which project he has been given.
I don't know, but it's a matter.
Well, but does it have to be a party project or government project?
Government project. Yes, so he's an engineer.
Yes.
But I know that I met him before, and I don't think that he has that amount of money, resources to be able.
No, but he believed, part of his job is to raise.
He believed in the democratic process. That the process will be fair.
And he was disappointed.
He was disappointed.
He had no basis for believing in it.
He had no basis at all. Especially after the second round, he should have advised, first round, he should have advised himself. In view of the influence of money in determining the 5 people who were otherwise qualified to go for the general elections. So you cannot come here and claim that your party, probably you are talking about another party, but not your party. The party itself said, key contenders of the election said they gave out 400 cedis and 300 cedis to delegates to vote. I'm told that your delegates list was 204,414 or 441. I cannot put, but it is 214, over 214. Just multiply.
203,000.
No, 203,000.
303,400 and what?
Can I mention the exact?
But when you multiply that by 300, you get 60 million. And
when you multiply that by 400, you get 80 million.
Yeah.
That's the amount of money.
On the day of the election.
Assuming that no one gave above the floor level, 300, 400.
And that is the day of the election.
On the day of the election. And you say that your elections was fair, free and fair.
But the people had to be given transportation. Is that not the case? If they travel to come and vote.
I have always said that when I hear people talk about transportation, then I cringe. It's a party. My brother Haruna is an executive of the party. No parliamentary candidate or presidential candidate has a responsibility to give transportation to anybody. It's a party.
Give 50 cedis each, right?
No, it's the party. You have money to give to for transportation. It's a party, and all the officers or persons coming to vote, the delegates, are officials of the party. So if they are coming to vote, the party has got responsibility, not the candidates, to transport them to the voting center, see if they cannot transport themselves. So who says that we are giving transportation? What is transportation in that respect? Where do you arrogate yourself the duty to provide transportation? It's the party. It's the party. And so, well, I'm saying that on the floor level, 881 million Ghana cedis on that day alone. We don't talk about a Navara pickup. So when I was coming, I saw my brother driving a Navara pickup. I don't think that he was given one.
No, that's
the party official. So the party gave it.
It's a party car.
It's a party car.
Kennedy donated it to the party during the Kumo by-election.
And then they gave you one.
No, but he's using on behalf of the party.
Okay.
You brought it.
I know that. No, I know you're a decent man. You will not.
I don't know. It's a propaganda. So be careful.
No, you're playing.
You're a decent man.
No, man.
It's a propaganda. So be careful.
I'm just talking to the facts as they have come to me. And now I'm saying that, well,
But let me just take you on this one because you need to conclude. You talked about how Ali Mahama was created. Incidentally, but there's someone sitting here today who is on the other side, was a key member of the Ali Mahama campaign.
Yes.
In that election, you said a lot of nice things about Kufuor.
Yes.
But Kufuor did not appear like he was supporting Ali Mahama to make him the establishment candidate we we claim Bawumia.
No, we know Bawumia is. No, we claim.
Okay, so Bawumia was in this election. Right? All the nice things said about Kufuor never did that. In the case of the Tolena tally, he was also not projected as such. So if anything at all, we need to be praising Nana for giving the support we say he gave Bawumia for Bawumia to get here by way of neutralizing that north-south divide.
Exactly. So we won't praise him, but we need to understand him. We need to understand him in two contexts. Only two. One, that the jinx, he thought he would break the jinx, but that is a secondary matter. As a political watcher and as an opposition party member, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has so mismanaged the economy of this country, has put us too much into the doldrums, that key persons, responsible and useful citizens of this country, like Professor Adai, like Dr. Ishmael Yamson, like Nyahu Tamakulu, like their own Kennedy, are talking about the unprecedented levels of corruption and misgovernance. Civil society organizations have bemoaned the conflict of interest that this party, this government, has engaged in, especially the Minister of Finance. So, Nana Akufo-Addo, in a year and a month's time, we believe in the thing. He needs somebody to protect him. The only reason.
Not because he believed.
Not because he believes in Bawumia. Not because he. The only reason why Nana Akufo-Addo went out of his way to protect, to support Bawumia is not because of the competence of Bawumia.
But he's always believed in the competence of Bawumia. He's stuck with him from 2008, 2012, 2016.
No. It was not about
he's always said
that it is not about the competence of Bawumia.
And he was.
Bawumia had just come from Canada. He was working as a deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana. What did he do at the time that Bawumia was being chosen as running mate to Akufo-Addo? That was outstanding to such an extent that Nana Akufo-Addo would believe that Bawumia is competent.
But he
chose him because he wanted to break into the north. He chose him because he wanted to send a signal that he was going to use professionals. That Bawumia was otherwise a professional, and so you are not looking at only a political person. You are looking at a professional person. So it added to his political credibility.
Which all politicians do.
I thought you were talking about competence of Bawumia and otherwise, and I was trying to explain to you.
But the competence is
because we are all politicians. So if I'm going to run for elections at the highest level, I will need to convince Ghanaians that even though I'm a politician, I appreciate the serious issues confronting this country, and I will need a professional, to come into, who has many economists elsewhere, to be able to support me and at least send a signal that it will not be business as usual. That was the reason. Not because of his competence. Bawumia had not occupied he had never even contested an elected position in this country. He had never. He was otherwise unknown in this country. Okay, and so how can you talk about competence when that person at the time he was being nominated as random mate, he didn't even have an MPP party card. He didn't even have an MPP party card. That you think that he was so confident that and believed in the ideology of the party that Nana Akufo-Addo felt compelled to. No. Nana Akufo-Addo was looking at the next election. Was looking at how to get elected as president. And now that, so to whom much is given,
much is required.
Good. So having plucked him from obscurity and made him random mate, and then he's exiting, and in view of the mess that has been created in this country, Nana Akufo-Addo thinks that he needs somebody to protect him.
Very well.
And that's why he's thinking that he will do everything, including in his power, to get him elected, so that he can protect him. But you see, he missed the point. Doing everything in your power requires that as we speak, you do everything in your power to remove the people of Ghana from the hardship and poverty
into prosperity.
Into prosperity.
That's fine. Honorable Bawumia Samoa,
yes.
It's interesting to introduce you as the senior advisor to Alan on the move. Alan left the party to form his own movement because he felt the processes leading to last Saturday's election were not fair, and so he left. Now that process has produced an outcome that many have said was fair and transparent, including Kennedy Japan himself, who promised a showdown. In his concession speech, he said that the process was fair and the process was transparent, and that was all he was calling for. And so he did not have a problem. That I don't know where that places the concerns of your team. But what's your general view on how the MPP conducted itself on Friday and eventually elected the person you knew would be elected because he's been popular, because you thought he had support, etc. Eventually that person has been elected. What's the general view of yourself and your side being the movement for change on this election?
Thank you for having me.
Let me state that in the next 5 minutes I'll take a break, so you will come back. But that's fine.
Okay. Then let me do my congratulations
within
5 minutes, because I want to congratulate you on your studio. I haven't been here.
Oh, you've not been
in
here?
the new house.
Oh, really?
Congratulations.
Thank you. You've not been here?
Yes.
Whoa,
I haven't been to this house.
I see.
Before.
That's got a while. Great. We thank you.
There is development.
We thank you.
Yes, the media is growing. And congratulations to my brother Hauda. Yes, he is growing very rapidly, maturing very rapidly as a Deputy General Secretary. As for my NDC brother, I won't congratulate him. He's at his mischievous best this morning, flying in different circles, hovering and swooping. Alaji, I've had some very interesting times with him in Parliament.
I've heard some Singaporean experience.
He's a gentleman. He is a gentleman. A very fantastic guy. And then congratulations to Alaji.
I didn't say hi to Franklin.
Bawumia. Oh, Franklin is online.
Yes, he's on, yeah.
Franklin is my buddy. He doesn't look for me. He's going to be a member of the movement for change. So tell him, Franklin, I've already co-opted you. So get ready. Now, let me quickly dispel this notion that is gaining traction, and yet the party leadership doesn't seem to be able to respond to it. The leader of the party. The president is not the leader of the New Patriotic Party.
Really?
No, he's not.
What we know is that if he's elected, he becomes a leader.
No,
and if he becomes president,
it is not like that. That is the NDC.
Oh,
in the MPP, the chairman of the party remains leader of the party.
Even in government?
In government, in opposition, every time the chairman of the party is the leader of the party. The president is the president.
I see.
So I'm surprised the party is watching whilst the media is continuing and establishing, because it was a major point you started.
Yes.
The leader and what happens, one leader transferring to the other. What he transferred on that day is the flag bearership, not the leadership of the party.
So when they go for a meeting,
the president sits aside. It's the chairman who chairs.
And in this case, the flag bearer will sit aside?
Yes. At best, you may sit in a position of honor, but you don't chair the meeting. Wow. It is the chairman of the party who chairs all meetings. So there's nothing, and it's a tussle that has been going on in the meeting in that party for as long as I remember. That the presidency feels that they are entitled to be leader of the party, and that the party has resisted that. That on their own they take the party into government, and they remain a party even whilst in government. So there's nothing like a leader of the party. My brother, please correct it. Issue a statement. You are in charge, Deputy General Secretary.
So he has a boss. Jeff is the boss.